minute.
Welcome in, everybody. It's All Pro Lines, the podcast. We do about once a month in the off season. Appreciate you being here to support us in your ear holes. I'm Kostaki Economopoulos, founder, CEO, head writer, creative director of All Pro Lines, a football comedy brand. A lot to discuss. Among other highlights, my dry bar special is out. Today is the first full day. Here on May 31st, 2024. You can go to the drybarcomedy.com and it's $40 a year. Talk about a bargain. And lots of big names have done dry bar specials. Some of my favorite guys, comics, Augie Smith and Mike Kaplan and David Crow and Andy Woodhull and on and on and on and on and on. So many great comics have done dry bars, and you got availability you get all that stuff for $40 a year, and a free month if you use the promo code Kostaki. Add you a little free month, and they throw me a couple of shekels for sending them your way. So check that out. Otherwise, you can watch the clips here and there as they dribble out online, and eventually these things get they wind up on YouTube and Facebook and lots of other places. So whatever you want to do, check out some Kostaki comedy. I did something I've never done before during the pandemic. I've talked about this before, but just briefly. I didn't get to do comedy for a year in the pandemic. And so sort of at the end of that first year, I got a couple of Zoom corporate shows. And I just couldn't make myself go back and learn the old jokes. It was weird. I just was like so not interested. And I did something I never did. I retired all of the act from the before times, and I built a new hour. And I made it a point of like, I'm gonna do when the world reopens, I'm gonna be doing a new hour. And I worked my ass off, and it was awkward and terrifying and hard and exhilarating and exciting and awesome. And some of the best bits from that are on this dry bar special. So check it out wherever you check out your dry bar. Do the things. All right, as long as we're in promotion mode, let's do a couple other announcements here. I am on the road in July all over Ohio and Pennsylvania. Rock Creek, Ohio. That's over near kind of outside of Cleveland. Northeast PA, I got 2 shows, different wineries out there near Erie. Then I'm heading to Williamsport, PA, Sunbury, Ohio, near Columbus, Greenville, Ohio, kind of near Dayton, Cincinnati, Ohio. And then later in the summer, I'm doing San Luis Obispo, Fresno, and Bakersfield. And then in the fall, I'm doing Boise and Twin Falls and Shelbyville and Louisville and Niles and on and on and on. I got some great gigs in Wisconsin coming up. Those aren't even on the website. Check out the website for all that stuff. One last plug. Our friends. We have friends at Underdog Fantasy and BetMGM. And these are affiliate deals. When you use our link, we get a little tiny slice of your action out there in the gambling universe. These are both great ones. Underdog Fantasy is the king of best ball. When you're doing off-season fantasy football drafts. I do one a lot because I love them. And they have them where you could do like 8 hours per pick, and they pause it overnight, so it takes like 10 days to do a draft. You throw down $25, you could win $1 million. You do this crazy 10-day thing where every once in a while you're at work and you're like, let's see if it's my pick yet. You go look it up, and it's awesome. BetMGM, of course, is one of the big gambling machines out there, and both of these guys do all the sports. It's not just football. I'm a football only sports fan personally, but I know I'm an outlier in that regard. I know you guys are watching golf and basketball and hockey and all the things. You can bet on everything. So use our links. They give you whatever the max startup bonus pairing is. They give it to you. when you use our links. And we get a tiny little cut of that. So that's a way to support the pod. We appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a football offseason. There's so much news all the time. It's crazy with the Antonio Brown bankruptcy, and we had a sex tape release, and Harrison Butker burning down the. Now that's an interesting subject. The Harrison Butker thing is interesting to me because it sort of comes out of the sky. And as a football joke writer, I'm like, hello, thank you. Love it. So many angles, such an interesting subject. And then it very quickly morphed into a flashpoint in the culture wars, which is less fun, frankly, for me. It's fun because it's a water cooler moment. It's one of those things that everyone's kind of talking about for a sec. Those are great for writing jokes. But when they become Colin Kaepernick, where everyone picks a team and everyone's mad if your joke isn't sort of along the lines of what, it's weird. The same thing happened with Aaron Rodgers, weirdly enough. That's less fun. So, people in the comments are going bananas and they're throwing haymakers and they're just cussing each other and name calling, and they're pissed at me because, I specifically did several Harrison Butker jokes on the social media pages that had no point of view at all in terms of taking a side, just talking about the situation. I took a few shots at Harrison Butker. I think he deserves it. That's my personal feeling. And I posted 2 jokes that kind of went the other direction, that were a little bit of defending Butker and taking on the left for all the hoopla. So I've tried to stay a little bit in the middle within reason, but also you write from your heart. And I think Harrison Butker said some things that he should have been made fun of. So I did that. And, that's how we do. We try to avoid partisan jokes, but, it's a delicate dance because you also don't want to leave out stuff that's good and interesting and compelling. And, I get it. You don't want preachy stuff on your football comedy page. And I agree with that. I try to not do that. But Harrison Butker needed to be made fun of. So that's my personal stance. I acknowledge it's a delicate dance. All right.
The 2-minute drill.
All right, I wasn't planning to go into this subject right away, but I sort of backed into a little ramble about it. The NFL changed the kickoff rules this offseason. This year, you say you feel about women in the workplace, gays, and IVF, and then you kick it into the landing zone. It's different now. Harrison Butker reminds you that this week to turn your clock back to 1952. He also wants to remind you that June, starting tomorrow, Deadly Sin Month. So enjoy Deadly Sin Month, everybody. Geico has asked Butker to be the next caveman. So that's nice. Hey, Butker, if you find a time machine, be careful how far back you go in time because the Chiefs sucked for most of those years. I'm just saying, be careful out there. All right. You can go to the page and see all the other jokes on this subject. We'll not overdo it. There's some good ones. This is a fun subject to write about. I also watched the leaked Will Levis and Gia Duddy sex tapes. He'd be a star if his release was that quick on the field. You know what I'm saying? He put some mayo in her coffee. She ate the banana with the peel. You catch my drift? All right. Gia Duddy has better hands than Treylon Burks. I can tell you that. That one hurts a little as a Treylon Burks dynasty owner, but there you go. Reminding them not to make sex tapes is so far the best thing Levis has done for Titans fans. So baby steps. The Browns coach said Deshaun Watson looks like himself, which means if you're a woman between 16 and 40, run. Deshaun Watson said the Browns Steelers is one of the best rivalries. Another great rivalry, the devil and angel on his shoulders. Let's go, Angel. Update. The devil put his cock on the angel's hand. Yeah, that'll happen. Dak Prescott said he doesn't play for money. Then what does he play for? Sure ain't championships. I have to adjust my tie on that one. Antonio Brown files for bankruptcy. The only surprise, the headline didn't end with finally. I guess it took a while because one of his big crimes against humanity is he never pays anybody back. So it took a while to catch up with him, I guess. Now Antonio Brown is as broke on the outside as he is on the inside. They should call this case Brown versus any education. Tom Brady's partial purchase of the Raiders is on hold again. I don't know what the big deal is. For 2 decades, he owned the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills. Nobody blinked about that complete ownership situation. The governor said the Bears' proposal to build a stadium with taxpayer money is a non-starter. Kadarius Toney said, non-starter? Did somebody call me? I'm a non-starter. Tyreek Hill says he wants to stay in Miami forever. Yeah, it's a good choice. That's where most of his 37 kids live. We got some juniors playing in the NFL this season. Marvin Harrison Jr., Frank Gore Jr., Jerry Rice Jr. Harrison's got the DNA and the upbringing and the training from his dad, plus height. He's 6'4". It's one of the listings I saw. Who's going to stop this guy? Where's O.J. Simpson Jr.? It's probably the only chance. The NFL scouting for a possible game in Australia, where the Cowboys' playoff hopes go down the drain counterclockwise. By the way, that's just as a public service announcement. That's a pseudoscience joke. That is actually not science. Apparently, the toilet water and the sinks, it doesn't necessarily go. It's the Coriolis effect doesn't really. It's really more about the way the basin is and the way the water starts into the. Okay, all right. Johnny Carson never stopped to do public service announcements about his jokes and whether or not they were completely scientifically true. But I do. The NFL's going to new places now. They should go to China, where every game would come with Jerry Rice. They should go to Ukraine. A better defense than anybody expected. They should play in Gaza. They can surprise you with offense, but their defense is terrible. They just hide in the crowd. It's write me strongly worded emails. I don't care. It's fine. Not all jokes for everyone. I hope they don't play in Alaska. In the winter, all the games are night games. Kirk Cousins' worst nightmare. Or Afghanistan. We play football there until we decide we're done. Then we just get the fuck out one day. Very little warning. Anybody. Don't bother playing in Cuba. Who's going to buy tickets? Most of the people who are willing to go somewhere are not there. Haiti, even the Raiders fans are like, that place is fucking scary. We're not, the Eagles fans are like, it's a little rough there. No, thanks. All right. We could go on and on and on. But my guest, I see him in the lobby here. But he's a good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. It'd be nice to catch up with him. A great comic. You know, from the 2 Owls, 1 Pod podcast with his buddy Al Ducharme. Let's welcome my friend here, Al Romas.
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
How are you, man?
It's been a minute.
God, what do you have, a writing team? Where comes up with all these jokes? Holy shit.
It's easy in the off season. I don't do a podcast for a month. I'm like, I could put together 20 good jokes in a month, you know.
And I realized how little I know. I think I know football, and then I'm listening to your jokes. I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who that is.
Will Levis?
Will Levis, yeah, I get, but there's a few other names. Who are these guys? They're players? All right.
Oh, there's a little foreshadowing for you. The quiz today, I'll take it with you. I haven't looked up the answers because it's not on the quiz that I got, but it has NFL nicknames.
Okay.
So we'll go through and see if either one of us know anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Giant fan, so it's like I've just been in Sadville for a couple of years now. And it's not getting better.
I understand. I can empathize.
Yeah.
I could totally empathize. All right, so catch me up on your life. You're in Tampa?
I'm in Clearwater. I
Oh,
moved
nice.
across the bridge, down near the beach, 5-10 minutes from the beach, an e-bike ride from the beach. And yeah, been
That's
here
great.
for,
What an upgrade. That's
it's
awesome.
very nice. It's very nice. Been here for almost 2 years now after the whole COVID nonsense, the whole thing, went back to work and been down at the beach now for almost 2 years. So loving
That's
it.
great. And then
Yeah.
you take an Uber to the Tampa airport to go get on a ship once in a while. Is that how you do it?
Well, I got lucky. They gave me a schedule last year. They offered me the Icon, the big new Royal Caribbean ship out of Miami. And they said, would you want to do it 2 weeks on, 2 off for the year? So I was like, no flying for a year, just rent a car, drive down to Miami, get on for 2 weeks. And I work with Paul Ogata and Simeon Kirklees. It's a fantastic show. It's a lot of fun. Great guys. So I go to the airport. I get a car on Friday. I drive down to Miami Saturday. I drop the car. I get on the Icon. I do the 2 weeks. Back to Miami Airport, get a car, drive it to Tampa Airport, drop it off, and I'm done. And sometimes I'll pick up a gig during the 2 weeks, club theater thing or another cruise. Or like in this case, I've had 2 weeks, just enjoying 2 weeks off. So
That's awesome.
It's been nice, man. Yeah.
Good
No
for you.
flying. Haven't flown.
Tell me about that ship. Is that the biggest ship in the world?
That is the biggest ship in the world. 7,000 people when it's full and 3,000 crew. And what's great though is it's its own class. So this is the Icon class. So they took some of the best of the Oasis class and just made it bigger, but they widened the ship so much that it doesn't feel crowded. And they have those elevators where you punch in the floor before you get on. So it takes you to your floor. So there's none of that stuff with crowding and hitting all the buttons. It's beautiful, man. And the comedy club, nice club. They built a really nice room, no bar in the room, no wait service. 3 comics. We're doing like 15 minutes each, me, Simeon, and Ogata. It's a beautiful thing. And 2 shows a night, couple nights of 3, so 13 total in 7 days, 1 night off. Pretty sweet gig.
That's great.
Think about it. Yeah, it's been great.
I don't want to get too in the weeds for the listener, but just quickly for me, because I'm doing a ship. I'm getting on tomorrow. I haven't done one since pre-pandemic, so I'm rusty at this.
Where you going?
I'm doing it's Seattle north to it's Alaska. It's
Royal Caribbean or
it's Norwegian.
Norwegian. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so I've got some anxiety about, like you get on the first day and they hand you the crazy schedule and they go, do 10 and clean here and can't repeat it at the other. And then you got an adult, like, yours is a totally different universe?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one is. And I love it because those things are, you never know when you just fly to a ship and what am I walking into? Hey, 3 tonight and, 2 tomorrow and then 8 days off. But ours is set. It's just the same schedule every week. We do, the first night 2 shows, then 3, then night off, and then 2, 2, 1. And the same comics, and it's very, that's what's great about it. And there's no mystery. I know exactly what I'm getting into. But but cool. On the other end, I do feel a little worried because we're doing 15. So you start thinking, when I have to do the hour, can I do this anymore? Because the 15 seems pretty full because you're really going for just, killing.
Right.
And when the light comes, I'm like, well, I feel like I did some time there, but it's 15 minutes. So, it's a little worrisome. Will I be able to bring it again if I had to do longer and different type of shows? But
it's like anything. It's just a muscle that it gets a little atrophied, and then you get back on the bike, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm good here. I got it." Yeah, it's just it's doing it. It's any of the different things when you do a corporate, when you do a college, when you do a TV taping, when you do a whatever it is. Like you can suck at it the first time and then get very quickly better at it.
From working. Isn't that weird though? That after all this time, you can still be like a little, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. Like, what are you doing? We've done this for fucking ever. Come on.
That's exactly what I know. This is going to happen to me in 24 hours. I'm going to be wandering around a ship And I'll be like, oh man,
Yeah.
I haven't done a ship in so long. Right.
Yeah, and you won't find your cabin, and you'll be confused, and
Yeah.
it's just weird though. Like it's like a corporate when you get one every now and then, and it's just like I'm sick for like 2 weeks before thinking about it. Like, I've done this before. I've done this.
It's especially funny to be anxious about a thing that doesn't really matter at all to the whole arc, right?
It's like, kind of fun. Yeah, it could matter less. It couldn't really matter less. There's like 300 people who are going to know you suck, and that's it. And then
that's it.
You go home. I mean,
that's really right. That's funny because sometimes that's the pep talk I give myself. Like, no matter what happens here tonight, I'm still going to eat a sandwich and have a full life after this. Like,
but I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, it's very hard. I mean, when you're that person up there in that ballroom with the 50-foot ceiling and all the people are in the back at the bar, and you're just doing your dumb little jokes, it couldn't be more humbling.
Yeah, for the listener, some corporate gigs they come together, they're magical, they're super fun. Yeah. But very often with the corporate gig, they don't come together. They're put together by someone who doesn't understand comedy. Nobody who is there picked to see a comic. They're usually a bad situation with the sound and the setup and the expectations. They're sometimes horrific.
I always think, well, these people like comedy. They go to comedy clubs in their life and they enjoy watching Netflix. So why are they going to be, in my head, I'll be like, they're going to be good. They'll probably be good. And they're never good. They're never good. It's always the same thing. Just open that door and go, I've been here before. I know this gig. I'm playing to the bartender. Here you go, buddy. Me and you.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
very familiar.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You get to get on the same ship over and over, and all the things and the staff and the other comics. That's a cool setup.
It's really nice. It removed all that mystery and all that, the travel aspect, the nightmare of travel. And so when they offered it, I was like, hell yeah, I'll grab that in a minute. And,
that's cool, man.
Great. Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that.
Nice.
Nice.
It's been good.
How's Clearwater? I love Clearwater. I lived there briefly.
You did? Really?
Well, I went to USF for 1 year. Okay. And so I would go across the bridge and run around down there all the time. And I've on and off. I actually have a friend who lives in Clearwater now. I haven't seen him in a while, but I've had lots of Clearwater time over the years, and I've always loved it.
It's great. I was in Tampa for so long, and when you realize, like, even though I had a pool at my house, whatever, but it didn't really feel like Florida living. It was a suburb, and but here I feel like I'm in Florida. I'm at the beach, I'm riding around my bike, and it's just beachy, and we go out and just do like happy hour and that kind of thing, and it's kind of awesome. I love it. So it's been great. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
nice.
Man. Not bad.
So talk to me about you're a lifelong Giants fan. Now, where'd you grow up? What was your early football days?
Well, I grew up on Long Island. My dad was a big Jets fan, huge Jets fan, Met fan, that kind of thing. And I was like, the Mets suck. This is, the Jets suck. This is terrible. So I went, and I thought it'd be fun, even though you should root with your dad. I thought it'd be fun to be like, hey, I'll go the other way. I'm going to go Yankees, Giants. And the Giants sucked at that point too. But then they were starting to get good when I was, a teenager. We were getting like LT and such. And so I went with the Giants and the Yankees, which I think I've been proven over the years was a wise decision.
Lucky call as a child. Well done, sir.
Yeah, I could have really been. But the last few years have been. And I'll tell you, these Giant fans, I think as you know, any football fans with social media, I just can't read the comments anymore. I'm done. I can't. They're so out of their minds that you just want to go insane, I mean, Daniel Jones isn't great, but I don't wish death upon him and his family. And, really, let's calm it down a little bit. But
right.
But yeah, so we're not expecting a lot this year, but we'll see what happens,
Yeah.
Probably
right.
Maybe 6 wins.
Now, I've asked a few different people this, and sort of I lived in New York for a decade, and my perception is that the Giants, Yankees universe is a little skewed towards Manhattan,
Right.
a little more upper middle class-ish, and the Jets Mets universe is a little more Jersey and Long Island and blue collary. Is that true or no?
I don't think the blue collar aspect of that, but it is Long Island because the Jets were originally, they played at Shea Stadium where the Mets played. That was their home.
Okay.
So it was Mets, Jets, and that's close to Long Island,
Right.
Queens. Whereas
Right.
the originally the Giants played at Yankees, they played the Polo Grounds and Yankee Stadium. So there was always that connection, Giants and Yankees. When MetLife was, where the original Meadowlands was being built, they were again back at Yankee Stadium for 2 years. So it's always Knicks, Rangers, the Garden, Yankees, Giants,
Gotcha.
and then Mets, Jets, Nets, Islanders.
Yeah. I never grew up with all that, so it always seemed like I was in a foreign land when I was talking New York sports. I tried to be a Giants fan. My podcast partner at the time was a lifelong Giants fan, and we actually went to a handful of games at MetLife, which were great. It was fun. I mean, it was a great place to see a game. A lot of tailgating life, and
it's great. The pregame is awesome, and the game until the game starts, it's really great. And then, I was there last year for game 1, Sunday Night Football, Giants Cowboys, and it started to rain, and then it was 40-0 in the second quarter. I mean, it was so it went from the so much fun, so great, to just fuck us. Let's get the fuck out of we suck. Yeah, that's brutal.
Many years later, I went to a Falcons at Jets game there. And after all the years of going to see the Giants play, I was shocked to walk up to the stadium that was not blue. It was green instead. It's like, it never occurred to me that they could just do that with lights.
Yeah.
It always glowed blue when I was there.
I've never been to a Jet game there, but it is amazing. And the two major big franchises share a stadium. I mean, is that anywhere else? I don't think that's anywhere else in the league, or I can't think of.
Boy, I can't think. I think they're talking about that possibility. Wait, do they do that? They do that in LA now. SoFi does that, right? The Chargers play at SoFi, right? Rams and Chargers.
I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
I should know that. I live here, but I don't.
I'm not the football guy. You are.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
The Chargers played briefly at a soccer field for a while, but I think they've moved into the. I don't know. The other thing that I've told this before, but I'm with Aaron Hodges, my buddy, and we're tailgating, and we meet up with some of his other cousin and brother and Giants friends, and we're drinking beers and hanging out and throwing a football around. It's one of my favorite kind of things to do. Mm-hmm. And they start talking about their favorite Giants Super Bowl memories. And they had so many to choose from. And I'm sitting there in my Falcons shirt, fuck you guys. I got nothing. I mean, they're in different eras of their lives. Like their whole life story is Giants doing well.
I try to remember that now that we're so bad. It's like, well, we just, but then I'm like, will I ever see another one in my lifetime, a Super Bowl? Because you don't know. I mean, there's no guarantee. And it doesn't look that way right now. We're not looking like we're going up. We're not climbing up in the right way. So I don't know. But I was kind of spoiled in that with the 80s and the 90s, 2000. We've had a few. But I don't know. I'm worried that, I want to see one again before I'm,
Yeah, but you got so many in the pocket. Beat Tom Brady twice. And back in the day, Bills and all so many different great ones.
Yeah. The Buffalo. I think it's funny if you had to go. What's a bear? I mean, the wide right Norwood missing the kick is number one.
Yeah,
but then you go also the David Tyree catch with the helmet. And what is that? That's not number one. So that's pretty amazing. That's not the greatest play you've ever had in the Super Bowl.
And that was against Brady, right? I mean, that's what makes it so sweet. Was that the perfect season, Brady season? That was perfect season, Brady. And the Randy whole play, when you watch it, Eli should have been sacked 8 times during that play. Right. He can't even move, and he somehow gets out of that whole thing.
and then hails it down there, and it gets caught on his helmet. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, but
that one, if I remember right, is the weekend my child was conceived.
I think you are. I remember that. Yeah.
And Eli named his kid Ava. Same thing we named our kid.
Oh, jeez.
Crazy, right?
That's kind of nuts.
And I believe this is correct too. The Norwood wide right game was the game I was in the parking lot for the year I went to USF. It was in Tampa.
That's right.
And was there for the flyover, and we're drinking natural lights in the parking lot because we were just like college kids. There's no way we were going to a Super Bowl, but we could hear the crowd and listen to it on the radio. And we just like went and screwed around in the parking lot. It was
the
great.
Old sombrero. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I was in Jersey. My buddy and I don't know if I told you this story, but my buddy and I went to Lawrence Taylor's sports bar. It had just opened. So we went to watch the Super Bowl at LT's. And my buddy John was a comic at the time, but he had a big video camera and he would film everything. Everything he did, he would always film, So he has all this footage of Super Bowl Sunday at LT's, all the people there. And then at the end, the kick going wide right, us going insane. I've got a mullet. I've got, I'm stoned and drunk. It's crazy. So he puts it on YouTube years later, just, Giant Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. And when Showtime was making the documentary about Lawrence Taylor, they were looking for footage of LTs because there was nothing, they never had anything.
Oh,
so they came upon this footage of LTs and they contacted John and they go, we'd love to use it in the documentary. And he goes, yeah, great. And they go, can we interview you and your buddy there, the other guy, me? And so we go, yeah. So anyway, when people were watching this LT documentary about 7-8 years ago on Showtime, I started getting all these texts from friends going, what the fuck? How are you? What are you doing? Because it's all football guys, Hall of Famers. Then it says Al Romas, Giants fan. And I'm like, that was quite a day when we were. It makes no sense at all to have me and Johnny in there. But
that's great.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things is to get a text from someone who is like at the gym and my face pops up on some NFL, obscure, I do one joke and it goes on to something else. They're like, why is your face on my screen? I'm trying to.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, this is a good segue we do a little segment here, Al Romas, called Which Comes First.
But now it's time for Which Comes First. Oh, yes, it's time for Which Comes First. Now tell me, will this happen before that happens? It's time for Which Comes First.
Wow. Did you write that?
It's the world's longest bumper. That's our friend Glenn.
Glenn wrote that?
Glenn and Aaron goofed around in the studio for
two people?
A long after.
Come on. I thought you whipped it out, just in the car or something. I didn't know it was a fucking.
Come on, it's catchy. You can't deny how catchy.
I can't get out of my head.
Since we're talking about it, I'll give you. It's a simple one, but it might be a long answer. I'll let you scramble around with it in your brain. Which comes first? Giant Super Bowl win, Falcons Super Bowl win.
Well,
from here,
I gotta go. History and the Giants will figure this out.
That's a very tough division. You don't have a quarterback. We have an easy division and a good quarterback. Finally, we have two good quarterbacks, maybe, possibly.
Look, neither one of us have a quarterback. Let's just put it out there. As a Giant fan, I'm gonna say Giants, but yeah, I'm not optimistic for myself or you in this case. I don't see any of it.
Neither one of these are happening soon.
No, certainly not soon. God, not at all. And that's the worst thing that could happen is the Giants have a decent year this year. And then again, we keep Jones for another year. And when does this, you know what I mean? It's just either he can do it or he can't. We're going in year, I think, 5 now. And we really don't know. I mean, I think we do know. It's like Giant fans like, we really don't know. I think we know. We want to be like, we don't know. He won a playoff game. Like,
all right. Well, I'm always fascinated with rankings. Where would you rank him in current quarterbacks on the earth? He's like, it's 20 something, right?
I mean, based
22?
on his body of work. I got to put him at the end, at the bottom of whatever number.
29.
Well, who are you taking him over as what starter do you go? Well, I would take Jones over. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure there's 5, right?
5. You think there's 5 starters you would take Daniel Jones over?
I'm not looking at a list, but I think so.
Wow. I mean, I don't have a list. I can't imagine that, but I'd like you to be right on that. That would be. I'd feel better.
Well, I mean, all right. In Denver, it's Bo Nix or whoever the incumbent is, Jared Stidham.
Well, all right. Okay, that's one. He's better than Jared Stidham.
I'm trying to think. All right, so I think maybe, but somewhere between what you said and what I said is the truth. I think you're right.
You want to go? Yeah, is he better than an unproven rookie? Oh,
yeah.
Like, okay, I guess
he is this year, but maybe not next year, right?
But he's also had health issues every year. He's out. He misses games,
right?
So he's not durable at all. I mean, I think Giant fans certainly, when they want to knock Eli for whatever reason, they forget. This guy never missed a game. That alone is just. Can you imagine having a quarterback who's always there every week?
Yeah.
No worries. It's amazing. I don't know if we'll see that again, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe there are 5. But he's not. In my eyes, he's pretty low.
Yeah.
Sadly,
upper 20s. Okay. All right. I think I agree. You talked me into it.
Thank you.
Where would you put Cousins?
Good old
this year.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably middle of the pack. He's always that guy. He's not gonna kill you. He's not gonna win the game. He's just there. He's good. I don't know. He's like Phillip Rivers kind of to me. I don't know why I have those two in my head as like, yeah, I agree. They're fine. They're pro quarterbacks.
They're bottom good of the range that if everything went well, you could win a Super Bowl with.
Yeah. But like bring in like a team like that where you're built a big defense and you need that guy who's not going to fuck it up. Right. Okay, those guys.
Yeah. Which, as a Falcons fan, is a giant upgrade. I mean, for us,
you're very excited.
I mean, we didn't have a quarterback in the top 50 last year. I mean, I say that not joking. I went through person by person with a friend of mine last year.
Wow.
Definitely not a top 50 quarterback.
But what did you think when they drafted as a Falcon fan?
I was at the draft with my brother, and it was a challenging week because it was the story of the weekend. And of course, we're wearing red shirts in Detroit, wandering around. And every time we made eye contact with anybody over the next 2 days, they were like, "Hey, what did you guys think about your pick?"
I mean,
we don't like it. What do you mean? What do we think?
Was there ever an answer that I didn't follow the Falcons really? I mean, what was the thinking there? Why would you do that?
Well, all right. Let's play devil's advocate. So they on the Falcons draft board, Penix was the second best quarterback. They had him above May and the kid who went to the Commanders
McCarthy
out of LSU. They had him. They had him above all those guys.
Yeah.
And they flew and interviewed him. They loved the kid. In terms of like. To the Falcons' credit, one thing they've been good at lately is getting high character guys. They're not interested in these fucking knuckleheads.
That's good.
So,
yeah, we want high character losers. Yeah, great. Yeah, we suck, but we're great character men.
So they like the kid, and they hope that they're not going to be picking early the next few years with Cousins at the helm. So their argument was this is the most important position in sports, and if we have 2 good ones, that's great. We've had no good ones for years, So I understand, and from a dynasty fantasy nerd point of view, all of the skill players on the Falcons are safer now because of Cousins' Achilles isn't great. Then you at least have another potentially great quarterback waiting in the wings.
What happens in week 2 if Cousins throws 3 INTs?
Right. You definitely, now this go back to what I think. This is exactly the problem, right?
Yeah.
You're creating a problem. You're undermining the guy that you just spent the giant pile of money on. And the Aaron Rodgers argument, you're not helping him win now. You could have gotten a hell of an edge rusher
Exactly.
8 overall. That's what you should do. Push all
Right.
your chips in and win now. You're in the worst division in football. What are you doing? You're preparing
That's what I'm
for
not
something
understanding.
in 3 years when you're spending all the money. Like they solved all of their cap problems, which again, I give them credit for that. They spent all the money on Julio and Matt Ryan. It took them a couple
Right.
years to get out from under that. Now they're in good cap space. Go fucking win. This is why we waited, right?
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't.
So
get
I'm with
it.
I'm with you. I think it's a bad decision.
And,
But
and you know how that goes. I mean, the fans, they've seen Kirk Cousins. We've all seen Kirk Cousins.
Right.
So if he has a bad week 1, week 2, week 3, they're going to want this kid. I mean, well, give us the kid, of
Right.
course.
Right.
And that gets ugly when that starts.
I couldn't agree more.
You know,
I don't think it's a good decision, but
You know.
they made it. And having had a dearth of good quarterback play for 3 years now, because we had the ghost of Matt Ryan for his last year
Right.
in Atlanta, and then we had 2 years of just horrific quarterback play. It's
Good.
nice to think that there's at least a floor that's the 20th best quarterback in the world. You know,
Okay. All right.
so that's exciting for
Yeah,
me.
that- Yeah.
That's what I can rest
you
my
guys have been
Falcon
beaten
hat on.
down, so that's exciting. We've got the 20th best.
I know, right? I know. This is how
he's
sad it
he's
is.
better
to
than
be
my quarterback, so I'll
to
give
be
you
a
that.
Falcons fan.
I would have taken Cousins. You know what the hell?
Yeah, I know. All right, let's. This is goofy, but let's knock around the little quiz.
All right, kids. Put your thinking caps on. It's quiz time.
All right, this is from Yardbarker. I just happened to stumble on this and I saved it, and I thought it was kind of fun. All day. These are NFL nicknames. They don't have the answers on here. I think most of them we can know pretty easily. All
Okay.
day. That's Adrian Peterson, right?
You got me. I don't remember all day, but okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, now you're going to make me look it up. Hold on.
You're probably right. I have it all day.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
AP or AD is how they referred to him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, there's a thing called All Day that's something NFL, so it gives me 800 things in it. All right.
Did I read he wants to play again? Peterson is looking to come back this season.
I didn't see that this season.
I saw something on. I mean, who knows if it's true or not? But
I saw Le'Veon Bell wants to come back. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, that one's gone. What about AB? He's gonna need to come back.
He needs some money.
I can't believe he's broke. That's such wow.
He seemed like he was making so many good decisions.
Yeah, and he has got the music career and that would take off. And jeez, shocking.
Yes, it's Adrian Peterson.
All day.
Bad Moon Rising. That's Rising, right?
I would go Andre Rison. On that.
Yep.
Okay.
Beast Mode. That's
Falk. What's the
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Big
Yeah.
Ben.
It's Roethlisberger.
This one I looked up. Are you you're technically older than me, but it's not by much, right?
Couple days.
The Blonde Bomber. Did you know that one?
The Blonde Bomber.
Yeah.
No, I never heard it. Let me guess. I'm gonna go blonde hair, old Terry Bradshaw.
That's correct.
Whoa, Jesus.
I was thinking of like Phil Simms or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm old. I'm old enough that I think of when I think of Terry Bradshaw, I think of him as bald. I don't think of him as blonde, right?
Yeah.
Like we knew a different part of Bradshaw's career.
I remember him from, and I didn't watch it, but my dad would look at Hee Haw every now and then. And Terry Bradshaw was on Hee Haw a lot. And I don't know why. It would be Terry Bradshaw, Roy Clark, and like a talking cactus or something.
Right.
And
Redneck Laugh-In is what you step out of a cornfield and do a
That's
one-liner
hilarious.
and just
That's
crouch
hilarious.
back down.
Redneck Laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
grew up in Georgia. Hee Haw was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah, we got it on like some UHF channel in New York, and my father would he liked the jokes. He thought they were funny. They would, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I remember Terry Bradshaw having blonde hair, so that was the pull on that one.
All right. Well done. You were right, because I looked up 4 or 5 of them that I definitely didn't know. Broadway Joe. Some of these are pretty easy.
The only quarterback the Jets still have ever had.
It's crazy. CJ2K. That's Chris Johnson with his 2,000-yard season. Crazy Legs. Now that's an old one. That's like the black and white Crazy Legs Hirsch.
Crazy Legs.
That's I picture like a trading card where there's like a punter and his leg is up.
Yeah. Somehow that would be offensive if you called the guy Crazy Legs. Now there'd be some group that would protest the Crazy Leg Society. That's very unfair. Crazy Legs. I have no idea.
The law firm. This one is Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, right? He had the crazy multiple last names.
Yeah.
That's a great nickname.
Oh, wow.
White Shoes. You remember this one? I do as a kid.
White Shoes. He was a cowboy. I remember him, right?
He was a Falcon initially. I think maybe he was a cowboy later. Yeah. Billy White Shoes Johnson. He was the first player to wear white shoes back in the day.
Before Namath? That's interesting. Namath wore white shoes. Yeah. 68, 69.
Let's see. We'll do a little quick.
Let's find out.
All right.
God damn it.
Billy White Shoes Johnson, William Arthur Johnson, better known as Billy White Shoes, American professional football player, wide receiver, and return specialist, 74 through 88. That was a good run.
Namath was first. Get out of here. You stink. Joe Willie. White shoes and a mink coat. Come on.
Oh. Huh.
That's right.
Doesn't say CFL and the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, he played for the Montreal Alouettes. All right. Actually, for the Redskins, also no longer a team.
No.
It doesn't say first white shoes ever. I guess known.
Right. Well, if you put the name White Shoes in there, you're going to be known for it. Joe was never Joe Willie White Shoes Namath. He didn't need it. He was banging Ann Margaret. He doesn't need white shoes in his name. All right.
Matty Ice, Mean Joe, Megatron. Some of these we definitely know. The Minister of Defense. I had to look this one up because I didn't know it.
That was some people. I just jumped out of my head. But he played for Philly and some people. Reggie White. Some people to say he's better than LT, and
right.
Those people are wrong. So.
But he was up there on the list of guys.
Yeah, he was. And you forget how great he went. Then he went to Green Bay, and I think that's when he won a ring. But how great he was there.
That's what I remember. Those highlights of him throwing Chris Carter out of the way on his way to Dante Culpepper. That kind of stuff. That's what I remember.
Right.
The Mad Stork. Did you ever hear this one?
I've never heard of the Mad Stork.
Ted Hendricks was a Hall of Fame linebacker, Colts and Raiders.
That is an awful.
That's a bad one. That's a bad.
You don't want to be in there without a couple of buddies on shirts on and beer. The Mad Stork. Fuck yeah.
Here's a Tampa reference. Muscle Hamster. Remember this one?
Yeah, Muscle Hamster. I can't pull that. It was a little running back for the Bucks.
That's right.
I don't know his name.
I couldn't pull it either. I had to look it up. Doug Martin.
Yeah, Doug had a year.
Yes, Doug had a year. That's right.
Yeah.
It was like fantasy gold for a one season. Goodbye.
Isn't it? It's funny how almost every there's a guy like that. Whether it's baseball, a guy who comes up and he gets 20 home runs in a month.
Right.
You never hear him again. Or like Doug Martin, the Muscle Hamster. Oh my God.
Here's one from our youth. The Nigerian Nightmare. Remember that one?
Maybe from your youth. I never heard of him.
No.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
Christian Okoye from the Chiefs, right?
Oh shit! I didn't. Oh, I know him. I never heard the name.
Let me look it up and make sure I got it right.
Nigerian Nightmare. That's my that's opening my email every morning, folks.
Yes, Christian Okoye. What a great nickname.
Wow. Nigerian Nightmare. That's pretty good.
That's a pretty great one.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite on this whole list. Ocho Cinco, Pac-Man. We know those. The Refrigerator.
Yeah.
The Playmaker. That's Michael Irvin, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Slingin' Sammy. Was that Ball?
Sammy Ball. Yeah. Sammy Ball.
Too Tall.
That
That was
guy-
one of my first memories.
Oh, Too Tall Jones. He was a cowboy.
Right.
Was Sammy? Which one's the guy? Like the old classic picture. He's like on his knees at Giant Stadium. He's all bloody, and just blood coming down his face.
Oh, I've
Is
seen
that
that picture.
Sammy Ball? Or is that?
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
I know that picture though.
Yeah, it's like
That
it's
one
the end of
shows
the
up like when you
championship
pull up like NFL's 100 best photos or whatever. That one's
Right.
like ever present. Yeah.
game. Yeah. I don't know whoever the quarterback for the Giants was in 50. But I thought it's Sammy Ball. I don't know. Could be off on that by a mile.
All right. I think those are most of the interesting ones. Slash. That was
Slash.
that Steelers quarterback that did both. It was
Oh yeah.
Cordell Stewart. That's
Cordell
Slash, right?
Yeah. Someone I think said like when you have the slash in there, it's never good. Yeah. It's kind of like even with comedian actor. He's probably not that good a comedian.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I'm a comedian. I'm an actor. All right. I don't think so.
Tell me something else about the biggest ship in the world. Does it have like what sets it apart? Does it have an ice skating rink? Does it have some gigantic thing that you don't see anywhere else?
Well, it has these massive water slides. It's really for families. It's a lot of kids.
Right.
It's a water park at sea. I mean, there's like 11 big jumbo slides, and they got the ice rink. They got an aqua show, indoor aqua dome. So they do full aqua shows in there.
They have an aqua show?
Yeah, indoors. The other ones, the Oasis, have them outdoors. This is an indoor aqua dome. They've got them. The theater's massive. They do Wizard of Oz as a play. It's like 2.5 hour full production. It's fantastic. I mean, it's really Broadway quality. And then they have dueling pianos. They have a full bar for dueling pianos across from the comedy club. It's just there's I think 40 bars, 15 restaurants.
Right.
It's insane. It's really one of those we're just overwhelmed.
Right.
But for comedy, it's been great. I mean, again, 3 comics, 15 minutes. So even if you don't like me, boom, there's Ogata. You don't like him, there's Simeon.
Right.
You got your choice where you're not getting bored going, all right, this guy, a little bit long on this guy. This guy, yeah. You know what he did recently, though? You might be, I don't know if just for a minute on this, but Princess has an interesting thing now with Princess Cruise Lines.
Yeah.
Where they're doing a thing, you go out, you fly out, say, Tuesday, you get on the ship Wednesday, you do 3 shows in the lounge. Okay? 3 half-hour shows. Mm-hmm. And then you leave the next day. So it's a very short 2 to 3 day contract, paid for a full week. And they're doing that right now out there. So if I was not doing I did one actually a few weeks ago just to try it out. I flew to Jamaica, overnighted, got on the ship, 3 shows, next day off. And then I went to Miami and got on Icon.
And they have some other comic come on and do the second half of that week?
Yeah, they do 3 comics per week in the lounge.
That's smart, especially with comics, because you don't have, there's not a band with 7 dudes and instruments, and you could fly people on, off, done, do your show, beat it.
That's it. It's great. Yeah. And what I loved is the short, just get on, do your shows, and a lot of times you can leave the next day, or I left the day after because it was a sea day. But still, 3 days, full check, because that's the thing too with a lot of the ships with comics. It's like the days off or, killer. I mean, people don't like, it's like you get on, you do a show, then you might have 5 days off. It's like, well, why am I here? Or, just use me or let me go.
Yeah. But I feel like that was more the old day construct. I did that with, what cruise line? I guess it was Royal Caribbean. You would get on and you would do the big theater show. and it would, depending on where it fell, you would have a bunch of days off.
Right.
Which I kind of, in some ways, is great. In some ways, you're like,
if you do it once in a while, it's great. If you're out there a lot, that you're just like, these days off are killing me. I want to get out of here or do something.
Right.
But there's still a lot of the ships on Royal that you do the theater. They don't have a comedy club, so they still do that. First night, welcome aboard. Right. And you might work day 7, farewell, or late night, whatever. It's different, but the comedy club ships, like the Icon, they're building 3 of those. Those are comedy clubs, and there's another Oasis coming, comedy club. So they really, they're looking.
I feel like the new model is there's a building, there's a space in the ship for stand up. So at least the people are self-selecting to be in a comedy environment.
Right. Because and I always tell new guys or girls, I tell them all the time, when you're in that theater, don't think when you're going to see people get up and leave. Don't get in your head, they didn't like me. There's a million reasons, you know what I mean? They're going to go get their kid, they're going to dinner, whatever. But as a comic, you're like, oh shit, in your head going, they hate me. I said,
right.
But no, and they made no commitment to get in there. They just walked in. It's checking a box. We got to do this. That's not what they didn't want to be there.
Right.
So, you're right. The comedy club at least is an effort. We're going to go see this show. Whereas the theater is just, let's go in, see what's happening.
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. Tell us where we can find the podcast.
The podcast, 2 Owls, 1 Pod with Al Ducharme. It's everywhere. Wherever you get your podcast. We're also on Patreon /2 Owls, 1 Pod. We have video there. We have backstage shit, extra stuff. But the pod's everywhere, wherever you're getting this.
When I'm flipping through, I'll stop and watch a clip of you. It's very funny, very funny. I like Al. I haven't seen him in forever either.
Oh yeah. He's out there, man. He's doing the same as clubs, ships, whatever, but still bringing it and doing well.
That's cool. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Well, it's great to talk to you, brother.
You too, man. Always good. Always enjoy it. Like to see you in person one of these days.
Yeah, I want to come to Florida and tell some jokes, old school.
Do it. Let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Please.
Yeah. All right. Al Romas, everybody. Thanks for listening. Just a reminder, Kostaki.com has all the schedule stuff for me. I'm doing Pennsylvania and Ohio all over the place in July. The Dry Bar is out. Go check that out. It's like $40 a year and you get a free month. For a year. Get all these comics. Free month with promo code Kostaki. And we'll come back and talk to you in a month. We'll continue with monthly through the off season. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Let's play some outro music. That's how we do here, Al. Right. We play the outro music.
How many guys wrote this one?
4. We'll talk soon, everybody.